Welcome to Life Talk. This week I'm going to talk about my journey of how I found Full Sail and, all the events that led up to that. Back in 2008, after having my first child, I decided to go to college and I actually wanted to become a teacher. So I started college classes at a community college that was here locally. After a few months, I did pretty good, but then my grandmother had a massive heart attack, and she was given about a 10% chance to live, and we were in and out of the hospital so much with her that I fell behind on some of the assignments and couldn't access it from the hospital's internet Wi-Fi, and I kept up with it as much as I could, but in the end result, I ended up failing out of college after about 6 months or so, and I decided maybe this wasn't the right choice for me, so instead I just focused on being a housewife and a mother, and I did writing and stuff on the side because writing is what I use to express how I feel. I'm more the type of, I'm going to type it out and let you read it instead of talk to you. So back in 2010, I decided to publish a book that I originally wrote as a screenplay for a contest in the state of West Virginia. It placed fourth, and I turned it into my first book. I had it published, and I had another book published as well. And in 2011, my grandmother passed away, and I actually wrote a book called Life's Reflections, which is a journey of my life, all the experiences when I was a kid up until the point of when she passed away. She always wanted me to write a book about her life, but we never got to sit down and actually do the whole book. There's bits and pieces in journals and stuff about it, and I incorporate into Life Reflections some of the stuff that we talked about and all the influence and stuff that she had on my life and my writing and all that stuff. And actually decided to not only have Life Reflections but have Life's Choices and Life Struggles, and those are the two, actually three. I'm still working on Life Reflections too. I'm working on that series, and in 2012, after my last son was born, I started looking into becoming a screenwriter because I liked writing, scripts and stuff. I'd done it since I was a teenager. Like I said, I placed fourth in the state during a contest, so figured why not. So I was looking at screenwriting and production, and I also looked in book production and stuff degrees, and come across a commercial for Full Sail University. And, it's all in the media platform, so I contacted them. And, I had talked to several different schools, and, they're very pushy, and, oh, well, you need to go through this, and this, and this, and a lot of them's expensive. The one I went through was expensive, too. But, a man by the name of Randy Thompson contacted me, and I had about 2 weeks before the classes were getting ready to start, and I was still kind of skeptical. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had 3 kids, and I didn't know if I could actually do it. And it was a 32-month course. Every month you have a different class, and it's very fast-paced. And so he talked me into overcoming my fear and to try it. And I figured, okay, we'll try it. I was afraid of failing again, but I gave it a shot anyway. And actually, my nobody knew except for my husband at the time. My parents didn't find out until I was 18 months into the course. I figured that way if I failed out, who's to know? And so I managed to raise 3 kids and take college classes online, which, we had to do video chats and voice chats and stuff, and it's kind of hard because I had kids running around in the background, screaming, carrying on, but, I managed to make it through it, and, some of those classes were hard, but I wasn't going to let failure be part of anything I did, so I pushed myself past my limits, which surprised me. But during a group project, I met Michelle, We was actually the only two in the group that actually did the work. The other ones kind of half did the work and shoved it all on us pretty much, and we managed to pass that assignment with a B. And it was me and her working together, and we discovered that even though we work in two different genres, she does horror and I do, usually romance and stuff, and we can collaborate very well. We can bounce ideas and come up with stuff, and we can write. She can write parts of stuff. I can write parts of stuff. We helped each other out because the horror class was horrible. I mean, she helped me get through that, and I helped her get through the ones that were dramatic and romantic and all that good stuff. And we worked together by bouncing ideas off of each other throughout college. And while we was attending, we decided to try to start up a production company called Blue Mystique. And that's, what we're using to do these podcasts. And, she's got some equipment, cameras, backdrops, lights, stuff like that. But makes it very hard because she's in Texas and I'm in West Virginia. So we work a lot online and, via video and everything. So, but I actually published a collection of her work, stuff she did throughout school. She has a book called Bits and Pieces. She's actually going to take some of those stories and turn them into, full books, and some of them scripts, they're poems, she's got all kinds of different stuff in there. And she's also done photos for some of the book covers that we publish. And her two of her daughters are actually on a book called Adventures of Two Best Friends that just released. And we decided to try to get not only our work, but ourselves out there, and that's the whole reason we're doing Life Talk. Going through college, I discovered that I'm stronger than I thought I could be, and, I went through a lot of stuff. I mean, raising 3 kids, I homeschooled a daughter through part of it. Right after I graduated, I ended up getting a divorce, and I currently got remarried to a man that I've known since I was like 15, and the only one that ever knew who the real me. And we have 4 kids because 3's mine, 1's his. So doing these podcasts, surprising, it's very, very quiet because it's nap time. But usually, there's a lot of ruckus, and I don't know from day to day how I even make it through with doing everything that I do. I mean, you got kids and school and cleaning and cooking, and I do the book publishing and all this other stuff, and I mean, it's exhausting. But I learned that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. And, when I first started Full Sail, we had to write an essay of why we wanted to attend the college. And I told the guy, I said, I want my kids to know that no matter what, that if they put themselves out there and believe in themselves and work really, really hard, they can achieve anything. And it's true, you can. I never would have imagined I'd have got a bachelor's degree. I mean, it still shocks me. But, I mean, trying to find a job, and I discovered that, there is jobs out there. But the problem with it, they're either low pay starting out, or you don't want to be in the location that they're in. I mean, I got a job offer yesterday, $25,000 a year for an editorial assistant, but it's in Topeka, Kansas. I live in West Virginia. I mean, that's 13 and a half hours away from home, and, I have kids, and, I mean, who's going to watch my kids while I'm working, and my husband's working, and, I mean, I like to find an online job to where I can actually stay at home with the kids and do the job. And my hopes is to one day get Faith by Grace Publishing into an actual building set where, you can walk in and there's a receptionist and you can talk to them. And I even want to print my own books. As of right now, we do an outsourced book publishing. It's sent out to a place in South Carolina. They print the books and they ship them to me. I would love to have my own printing press and be able to do that. My biggest goal was to always open a cafe bookstore. You know, you come in, you can have coffee and, you know, little snacks and read books and stuff, but we would have books by local authors and independent authors, you know, not like these big named ones. You know, we would be one of those little independent bookstores that they're unique because it's the only place you can get these people's books. So we thought, well, you know, that would be a good idea. And that's still in the works, so we're trying that. And you know, me and Michelle, we're working to get Blue Mystique Productions up and going. We're going to do little short films, you know, like we wrote back in college. You know, they were about 5 minutes long, and start there, and then gradually move ourselves up. And as it goes along, we're going to try to tie in Faith by Grace Publishing into Blue Mystique, as well as these podcasts. It's all going to be one big group thing. So until we can figure out how to get enough following and shares, we're going to have to keep it the way it is, and hope that, you know, you all help us by commenting and, you know, telling your friends, and, you know, and we're going to do a segment where we're going to allow y'all to, you know, you comment questions, or you can email us, and we will answer the questions on the live podcast, or, you know, and you will be able to hear not only your question, but the answer as well. I mean, you can ask us anything from college to life to books, writing, you know, whatever you want to ask. We both have done different genres. Like she said in hers, she started out in children's until her twin was killed, and then she switched to horror. She has still done children's books and drama, suspense. She did a historical, I think it was a historical horror type one, and I have done mostly teen romance. I focus mostly on like the age group of like 14 to 21 or so, the young adult. But I can also do suspense, thriller. I've done children's. I've done, not particularly fond of the horror, but I've done it. I mean, there's just a wide variety of what we can do and what we like, and, you know, and, you know, if you, whatever questions you may have, you can feel free to ask us. I mean, we'll answer them to the best of our ability, and we're going to try to post at least once a week. We'll be alternating. Michelle will be the next post, and as we go along, you know, we'll try to make it more fun and more interesting, and I'll get the books out that we have printed, and I'll actually show them to you, you know, the covers and what they look like, and then you can contact us if you want to buy them and stuff like that, or if you'd like to, you know, maybe use our company to get yourself out there. You know, we can do interviews, we can do different segments, help promoting other people as well. We're just trying to help fellow writers, you know, get out into the world. I mean, it is a hard thing to get into. Like I said, there is jobs out there, but most of the time they're in places you don't particularly want to go, or they're not worth the pay. Like, I'm sorry, if you move to, say, New York for $25,000 a year, that's not worth it. That's not going to pay your rent, you know? So, I mean, like around here, there is nothing around where I live as far as my degree goes. That's why I'm trying to find an online one, because I ended up working at Walmart for $9 an hour when I got divorced because I had 3 kids to support. But I still did the book publishing in the process as well. I've worked for newspapers. I've worked for small local magazines. There's radio stations, stuff like that. But trying to get your name out there like a big named writer, or, you know, whatever. I know Michelle has had credits on some short videos and stuff. I mean, she didn't get paid, but in the credits it says, such and such by Michelle. That's actually one thing I would love to do. I would love to actually watch a video, and in the ending credits it say, screenplay by Ashlea Ingram, or, whatever. And that's one of my biggest goals, and I think that I can achieve it. It's just finding that right moment. Timing is everything, and I discovered over the years that our timing isn't always necessarily the right time. Sometimes things happen later, sometimes they happen earlier, sometimes we think, oh, they're never going to happen, and oh, look, it happened. And like I said, I never thought I'd make it through college. I honestly doubted myself, and if it wasn't for the push of the advisor that contacted me, Randy, if it wasn't for his help throughout the whole course I was in there, I'd have probably dropped out at some point, because I got so frustrated with the teachers and stuff, because they used to say that I wrote robotic, or that my dialect was too weird and I needed to fix it. And, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's dialect's different. Depends on where you're from. I mean, I go around saying y'all. I mean, I'm from West Virginia. What's wrong with that? But, I actually got hung up by a guy in New York. I called him about a job, and he told me when I could learn to pronounce words, then to call him back. I was actually told at a job interview that because I was from West Virginia, I wasn't worth nothing more than $10 an hour. And I'm sorry, but some of the best people come from West Virginia. I mean, there's no reason to discriminate against you just because you're from a small town or a small state, or, whatever may be. I mean, some of the famous country singers come from West Virginia. There's writers, there's movie stars. I mean, they're famous, but they're from a small town, so what's it matter? I mean, just because I'm from West Virginia don't mean I'm worth less. Doesn't mean anybody's worth less. And see, that's my point. I mean, going from when I was in the second grade, my teacher told me that because I could not spell, that I was stupid. I would never achieve anything. I would never be able to do any kind of career that involved writing or English or anything like that. And I would love to look at her today and say, ha ha ha, because I got a bachelor's degree in writing and I own a book publishing company, and yet I was stupid because I couldn't spell. That's why they make spell check. I have gotten better over the years, but you don't go around judging people based on anything. You never judge a book by its cover. And this is a cover, and you don't judge by it. I have seen lots and lots of good writing, as well as bad. I try to help the ones that need, a little extra push, but then I also think, hey, how do I want to perceive this? Because if someone said it to me, I'd take offense on it, depending on how it was worded. I mean, I learned over the years not to let it bother me, but there is some things that if you say them the wrong way, I will take offense to it. I mean, that's human nature. It's just the way your brain works. So I try to be very careful at what words I use to tell people. I don't look at them and say, oh, that's horrible and that sucks and you need to change that. I mean, I've been told that before. But, you say, oh, well, this is good, but maybe you should change it to this. It might make it a little better, or, suggest that they do a little more detail or a little less detail, or, kind of connect with the characters more. Because, when you're writing, it's the same as when you're reading. When you're reading a book, you want to feel part of that character's world. You want to be, hey, I'm right there. I'm that character. When you're writing, you have to actually become that character so you can have that connection with your readers. And, I learned over the years the hard way how to write, because when I got in college, I had already wrote some books and some screenplays, but I didn't have the fancy software and stuff where you push a button and it formats everything. I actually had to sit down and format everything myself on Microsoft Word, and, space 14 times over for this and 10 times over for this. And I was so determined to actually get it done right that I did it. And, there's when you write, you don't realize when you're writing that common mistakes are easy. I mean, dialect and stuff like that's not a big deal, but I mean, commas, you need commas. Like if you wrote, I like to cook my kids and cats. I mean, you have to have a comma in between there somewhere because it sounds weird. I mean, I seen that post on Facebook and thought it was kind of funny. But there's like you can't use past tense and present tense in the same story, which I used to do really badly. I used to mix them up so bad, and it never really paid attention to it. And I'm like, oh well, I think it sounds fine. And then when I go back and read what I wrote like 10 years ago, I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, no wonder people told me it sucked. But you had to learn, and you need someone to tell you that it's bad and why it's bad. But you don't want them to like downgrade you all the time, because I went through that a lot. I was told by my ex-husband that, well, what if you fail? What if you don't do this? Or what if you don't do that? And, my grandmother used to always tell me, if you don't take a risk, you're automatically a failure. Great achievements come with great risk. And it's kind of funny because doing this video is a huge step out of my comfort zone, because I am not the on-screen type at all. I'm actually very excited doing this. I think it's kind of fun. But usually I'm not the one that goes on video or goes anywhere. I'm usually like real nervous and real like I'm going to go throw up or something. And so doing this video has actually helped me a lot. And I hope you all enjoy it. And, feel free to comment and make suggestions. And then the next time I'll, try to incorporate it into the video. So you all have a nice day, and thank you for all your support.